Sup guys, as you already know, I'm still yet to get any news for week 8, and it'll probably be a while before we get any. But for today, I thought it was a pretty fun idea to try to predict the next destination update after Pitstop 3, aka the mobile port. And I believe that it's gonna be the multiplayer update that was teased in the Pitstop 2 trailer, as there's a lot of evidence for the next major update being a multiplayer update, which I'll get into along with predicting how multiplayer would work in FNF. So let's get started. First, let's start with the evidence that I have gathered that proves that the multiplayer update is coming to the base game sooner than we expect. The first piece of evidence comes from a screenshot that can be found in the game's files that has a version of the character select screen that not only has more than 9 slots but also shows off the ability to choose your own opponent, something which can be done in the actual game. Another thing to note is that it also features health icons for some of the in-game characters, but this could have probably just been used as placeholders for the actual intended playable characters. Comparing it to the free play character select screen in-game, you'll notice that this one has 20 slots plus 1 random slot, while the one we only have has 9 slots and there's no random slot inside. So it's safe to assume this one will be only for multiplayer, while the one in free play will be only for remixes or songs for each playable character normally found during story mode. The second piece of evidence comes from the fact that Pitstop 2 added the ability to log in into Newgrounds. And yeah, this could have just been a way for you to save progress and also to unlock the new medals that was added in this update. But I'm pretty sure this was also a way of them testing out new features for online purposes. After all, the devs need as much practice as possible before they implement it into the final version of the game for the Steam release. And the final piece of evidence is a bit of a stretch, but I personally believe that it makes the most sense for the devs to release a multiplayer update soon, to keep us fans occupied while they make more updates and eventually finish the final version of the game. Because sure, we have amazing mods to keep us busy between updates like Hitsing Gorilla or Mario's Madness version 2, but I don't think that'll be enough to keep the game alive between updates. Multiplayer will allow people to challenge their friends or work together with them to beat any base game song, adding an extra layer of replayability to the game. Not only that, but I think it also helps modders since there might be some multiplayer debug tools that will probably add to help multiplayer versions of songs, meaning that you could make a multiplayer version or a versus version of your own songs. But yeah, those are my reasons why I think multiplayer might come soon. Anyway, let's talk about what will be in this update. One thing I thought I should address before I start talking about this is that I doubt there will be any new songs in this update, as I'm pretty sure the devs would want us to focus more on the game mode rather than free play, as many people might skip over free play and would rather check out the new multiplayer game mode. So there'll be no need to update the free play songs. Anyway, if that's it, let's talk about how this mode will work. I'm pretty sure the main menu UI might slightly change a bit with having multiplayer on it. You would probably be able to have the option to pick co-op mode or versus mode after pressing multiplayer. Co-op will allow you to play with another player to face off against any of the previous opponents in free play. You would probably alternate between who sings every turn, and you might be given a visual indicator or prompt that will tell you which player's turn is it to sing. You'd also be able to share the same health bar so that you and your buddy can have some serious trust issues with each other forever. Another thing which co-op might have is the ability to play any remix of a song so that you and your friend's relationship can be put to the test. Moving on to the versus mode, the way I can see this mode being balanced for both players is that you are only allowed to play the default versions of songs, as the character remixes and the rec remixes were made for single player campaign alone due to the player characters singing more than the opponent, so it might be hard to make it fair for both players if one player has to press more notes than the other. You'd also probably have the option to swap out the instrumental for any song that has a character remix, and maybe even the option to choose between the normal and the rec backgrounds. Gameplay wise, I believe that the winner will be decided by who has the most health at the end or who has the highest score. So yeah, those are my predictions for multiplayer. But I'm pretty sure you're wondering, wait, why did the devs make a multiplayer update so soon even though we only have 2 characters so far in the base game? Well, I'll explain everything after you watch this clip from one of Phantom Arcade's old streams.
The 5 unlockable characters for Kickstarter characters, we definitely have a plan for them that we talked out kind of like pretty early on. I kind of want to save it as a surprise for people how those work, because that will also be pretty fun for the game. But no, the locks on the character select screen, none of those are Kickstarter characters. Kickstarter characters will get cute little special treatment, but like, I don't think we could do like 50 billion remixes for every like Kickstarter character. We were paying people like as we do remixes, you know, when we got all those made, because the Pico remixes have just been sitting around for like a long time now. Was it we were paying? What was it? You were paying like 1,200 for just an instrumental. So like the $5,000 tier for the character thing, that wouldn't even cover like just a couple songs. So yeah, like, you know, $5,000 for a character, we're definitely gonna do those guys justice, and we have a fun plan. But like, a playable character in the game is like expensive. Like, it costs like a lot, and it takes a fuck ton of work. So like, those locks are definitely they're very specific characters for the game, not Kickstarter characters. The Kickstarter characters are a separate deal.
Yeah, that's right. I believe that the 5 Kickstarter characters are going to be multiplayer exclusive characters. And if you think that this feud is a bit crazy, there's actually evidence to support it. First, there's the screenshot in the game's files that contains the concept art for a larger character select screen. The second reason is how Phantom Arcade emphasizes how the 5 Kickstarter characters will get their own special treatment. And finally, I think it would add a lot of replayability by having 7 playable characters to choose from in multiplayer. Oh, and while on the topic of the character select screen, I'd like to share my predictions for who the slots will belong to. I know those slots will probably go to the free play characters like Boyfriend and Pico, 5 will go to the Kickstarter characters, and the remaining 6 will probably go for the custom characters. And with that said, those are my predictions for multiplayer and the character select screen for it. Leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new, comment your own theories below, and follow me on Instagram and TikTok, where I go by Hero the Giga Chad and Facts of Hero respectively. Anyway, later nerds.